Tonight's show is brought to you by Ventura Training and Athletics. Restore, train, maintain. Specializing in the restoration of the muscular system to help you move and feel better. Combating TBI, PTSD, and pain through specialized strength training. Again, get your body right, get your mind right, defeat the demons.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, and Joe. Today's special guests are Ryan, a Green Beret who wrote a book to boost his ego.
Trash Talkers, hey, cheers to everybody. I want to give a special shout out to 10th Mountain Distillery. Some really nice bourbon over here. Stuff tastes delicious, so cheers to everybody. Welcome to episode 7 of the Trash Talk Hour. Our guests for today are Ryan and Bill, and as always, I'm here with Nick and Joe. Buddy is MIA, so no clue where he's at. I think there's Ryan's a better special forces guy than him, so maybe he's too scared to come on or whatever. He's accomplished a lot more. Over to you, Joe.
Dave with a dose of facts for Buddy. Somebody put a bell on him, please.
We need to.
For crying out loud. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to, our battle rhythm just switched up, and I was going to do a little introduction for our friend who can't make it, and that's all right. So I'm gonna roll right into my soapbox. About a month ago, I met some paratroopers who the eldest enlisted in the 50s, and he actually is the commander of my local American Legion post. And I went down there, and I know for some like younger veterans or some guys, straight out, there's kind of a stigma that's an older man's place, or, they might not think that, why would I go down there and visit? Well, I'll tell you what, the stories I've heard since I've been down there and just talked to those guys a couple of times. I mean, there's an Air Force colonel who led the raid on Gaddafi, and that's no joke. And that story's coming. And there's guys that has a story about being a hung jumper on an L-20, and the story is incredible, and I'm not going to say anything else about it, and that's coming. And yes, Nick, I got it. But I went up there today just to, yes, I know, my bad, but I promise it'll be worth the wait. So I went up there today and just did some couple other interviews for the fact that I had some time, and I ran into this man. His name's Paul K. Buck, the Vietnam veteran. All right. And we sat down and talked. Older gentleman. He wrote a book, and not exactly what you'd expect, but wouldn't expect to make certain connections there to begin with. So these younger veterans, try and get out and around these guys, because I'm just going to read what he wrote. It's a book of poetry. So thought, okay, and I took a glance at one, and tell me if this sounds like anything any of us has ever been through, and just how much we relate to these guys. And I'm not trying to be a downer, but it was incredible based on the cause that we're trying to fight and the issue that we're trying to bring awareness to, how much it relates. It's almost like one of us talking.
Hey, Joe, are there pictures in it?
No.
Do you need somebody to read it for you? Like,
negative.
Send it?
No,
okay.
I got it. I may look down and you may see my lips move, but that's only because I'm talking out loud.
Is this recorded? Did you record this earlier? No.
Negative.
Sorry.
I didn't.
Sorry. I'll stop.
Yeah.
I'll stop.
Yeah. First take. So, it's called Guilt. Okay, and mainly is around survivor's guilt, and it says, "I have to wonder sometimes if I'm really worth the price. What have I done, or what can I do that could be worth a human life? I served long ago in Vietnam with men as brave as any, and I understand that brave men die, but Lord, must there be so many. It's hard to comprehend, no matter how hard I try. Is it just a crapshoot who will live or die? Or were we chosen, we who survive? Is there some reason why I'm still alive? This feeling of guilt I'll always have, simply for being alive, when so many other brave young men were somehow unable to survive." And, you know, I just ran into the guy and he wrote that. And I just thought, man, it was incredible to come across somebody that, you know, just the guy's just sitting there and this, hey, this is my book. And it's, you know, you'd pass him in the supermarket and think that's a 79-year-old man. And you'd have no clue. So, I mean, for you younger veterans that are just out and struggling for which way to go, you know, maybe put yourself around some guys like that and see what they went through and realize there is definitely light at the end of the tunnel, because it was rougher back then for them. And you know, that sounds like something that one of our guys would say. You know, it sounds like something that one of us would write. We can all relate to that. And that was Vietnam. You know, so that there's a reason why we called this veteran trash talk, not Ranger trash talk or, you know, 80-second trash talk. You know, we wanted it for everybody. And that's the reason why, is because there's always something to learn. There's always somebody that can paint a darker picture of your darkest day, you know, so think twice before you know, think that this day is shit. Well, there's, you know, there's plenty out there that have been through it. And, you know, some of them are at places like this. So that's all I got. Nick, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Cheers,
Okay,
Joe.
yeah, cheers, Joe. That was
Hey,
great.
what was the guy's name again?
His name's Paul K. Buck, and his brother, Luke Buck, actually did the illustration. And I guess he's a really good watercolor artist. And I mean, I literally met the guy a couple hours before we came on.
Nice.
So
nice.
I'll have some more information about it. But Joe Galloway goes to that post. You know, the guy who wrote "We Were Soldiers." You know, there's some serious history down there, and it's incredible. You know?
Yeah, North Carolina is definitely full of some history and some veterans down there. Yeah, that's the way to put it in perspective, Joe. People got to do that. And when you talk to Stop Soldier Suicide, who we're affiliated with, they tell you, they'll break it down on their website of who's committing suicide by average, and it's the ages of, you know, 50s and 60s now. They're the highest number, and those are the Vietnam vets, and we're not catching them early enough, and that's kind of going to my soapbox a little bit. It's going to be a short one, but I do want to give that shout out to Stop Soldier Suicide. We are in the works of creating our own individual fundraiser through Veteran Trash Talk. So I know a lot of veterans have the stigma on where does the money go when it goes to these websites. I'm telling you right now that they have an entire wellness center there, and that costs a lot of money because they have psychiatrists, they have, you know, doctors, all kinds of stuff and they're in the reaction mode. And I've said this before, we're going to try to get on the proactive mode. We want to get the guys when they're younger and before they get to 45, 50, 60, and get them holistically healed. And that is our main goal, to when we do get big enough, we're going to be a one-stop shop, right? You're going to come to us and we're going to get you on the right path. The goal is you have to do it. You, as the veteran who is struggling, has to do it. You have to be as strong as you used to be, as strong as you still are, and you have to accept the change. That's why I have that saying, the demon's inside you, it's not outside. Don't blame the VA, right? Don't blame, you know, what happened to you in Iraq. Don't blame what happened in Afghanistan. All right, those are variables and realities that just happened. It doesn't matter how much money the government throws at it, it's not going to solve anything. We as a veteran community are pretty sure, as I've been, you know, researching it, we're the only real answer. We're the only network of system of networks that we can put together and actually help each other. Because I'll keep saying it. My buddy who jumped into Panama, you know, one of my Ranger instructor, mentors was like, you put two guys on a bench watching cars and they're just bored. You put two veterans on a bench watching cars together and the stories start flying and it's fun. We're the ones that can understand each other and have a great time. So again, look inside. Get it out. Get it out to the community. Get it out to us so that we can all crush it together. And we've just started. We're only 3 months old. We're gonna get huge because we have all the right tools, and we have all the right people that are go-getters, and we have all the right people in our corner. We got guys that are gonna help you financially. So go on our sponsorship page, you'll see them all. Right? You're gonna have guys that can help you holistically with the muscles, and then with the brains. We had a doctor from Harvard on this freaking show already, right? And he's already alerted us that
Shout out to Dr.
Juan. He accepts TRICARE. And he's taking care of dudes.
That was the most incredible part of that whole spot was when he said that. I rewatched that. My parents actually were like, "You guys should have seen your faces when he said that." I was like,
"Oh, the availability."
Yeah. I was like shaking it off.
All that. Yep.
Yep. So again, the cure can't be worse than a disease, and you'll hear people say that. And I know I'm not going to get into the whole coronavirus thing, but there's a huge problem because of it, to where even in my own foxhole, I don't get to go to physical therapy. I don't get to go to my pain management right now. And those of you who know me, like I said, like Bill will bring it up. I got a battery in my ass, right? I got 2 wires in my spine. I got no cartilage in my knee, right? So it's like I'm not trying to have anybody feel sorry for me, but I don't get that pain management right now. They call me over the phone and they say, "How's your knee doing?" Great, dude. Like, thanks a bunch. And I at least, have somebody in my corner, my buddy Jeff, who they sponsor our show, Ventura, Training Athletics. He comes and he works on me for free, and that's $300 an hour that he charges, and he's doing it for free. He's going to do that for free for all veterans, period. And the wellness center at Stop Soldier Studio is going to talk to him, but there's a problem. There's a gap. There's a lot of veterans right now that can't go get their physical therapy. They can't go get the treatment, the holistic treatment that they need. They're going to give you more drugs. That's going to happen. They're going to give you opioids, right? You're going to go to the bottle, all that kind of stuff, and that's the problem. So we also have Ryan on, which Bill will introduce later, but he's going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff he's done that's helped him. It's not the surgeries. Surgeries is just your precursor to your next one. You have to fix it. Okay, you have to fix the whole system, the whole body, which means you got to lose weight. You got to strengthen your shoulder to help out your hip. You got to strengthen your hips to help out your knees, right? That whole thing. We're going to put everything in the same ballpark. We just need you guys to want it. And as soon as you want it, as soon as you want to change it, it's going to happen. Might take 2 or 3 years, but it's going to happen. Now, unfortunately, we lost last week's podcast or talk show, whatever this is. I didn't even know we had a podcast. Apparently it does pretty well. We got PR guys that call us, and I'm like, "What do you mean podcast? We're on Spotify? Shit!" So we are on Spotify. So if you want to listen, go ahead and listen.
Apple Music as well.
All that
Google
stuff. So
Podcast.
get on there. But we lost. It wasn't too exciting because it's Bill. But you all watch his UFC picks. He's really boring. However, he has a great cause, and anybody who knows anybody in the service who's lost somebody, who's lost a buddy, lost a brother, sister, a lot of times it gets lost in the fact that those guys had families. Those guys had kids. You see the gold star in a window, and very few people know what that means. And then you walk by. I remember my mom bought one that had a gold star on it because she thought she had to have one. And I was like, "Mom, you need to take that down real quick."
Yeah.
So she wanted to have that. She had a soldier deployed. And I was like, "No, it's a blue one." Right. So the gold stars, it hits us all hard. And if you watched our Memorial Day podcast, you go back there and watch that. We made a dedication to the Gold Star moms and dads, and Bill will explain it specifically what Gold Star Century Team does. We're not officially affiliated, but we're going to pump him all day, every day, whenever he wants it, because it's a tremendous cause. So Bill, hit the Gold Star again. I'm recording right now, so we're gonna get it this time, and we'll put it out there for you. Welcome to the show, Bill.
All right, thanks again for having me. Those of you, I've been on the show quite a few times. I'm also the one that carries the Facebook page with the comedic relief. Let's be honest. I'm also the one that made Joe all hail, myself, and I made Nick take a knee and pound a white claw.
Yeah, let's not forget who had the first one to hold the sign up. All right, let's not forget.
That's true.
Okay,
that's
true. About to be 2 and 2. About to be 2 and 2. About to even it up.
We got more coming, Bill. We got more coming.
More coming on the bench press.
Yeah, cute story, ladies. But hey, those of you who don't know, I formed the Gold Star Century team. We run for Gold Star Teen Adventures. So Gold Star Teen Adventures was initially created by Kent Solheim, who's a former third group officer who lost part of his leg in combat and thought, hey, what would have happened if I didn't come home? What was there for my kids? So he created this organization. It started out for Gold Star kids from the soft side, but it's grown to also first responders, etc. But they raise money and they take kids on scuba trips, hunting trips, little leadership trips, rock climbing, you name it. It's about $1,300 a kid. So I formed a running team. We're going to do a marathon, 50K, 50 miler, 100K, 100 miler to raise money for Gold Star Teen Adventures. So that's the Gold Star Century team. Now, with that, all money you donate to Gold Star Century team on our site and our Facebook page goes 100% goes to Gold Star Teen Adventures. So everything goes to Gold Star kids because, like I said, whenever we hear about soldiers that didn't make it home, and we all have brothers that didn't make it home, you see how the RIPs till Valhalla and all that stuff, which is great, but people forget the other side, which is some of these guys left kids back home. So the lady I'm working with is Jess McCloskey. She's a 7th group Gold Star spouse who lost her husband when her kids were, I think, 1 and 2, I think it was. So her kids were basically helped raised by Gold Star Teen Adventures. She's a huge part of the organization. She just got her shirts in. I'll have those in. I'll post that on our Facebook page. But by all means, follow us. We'll be doing a lot of races where you can follow us live. My wife will be doing GoPro live videos. Again, all money goes towards helping these Gold Star kids.
Hey, Bill, do you raise money based on the mileage you run? So you send out like a flyer saying, hey, how much are you pledged per mile? Or how does that work?
It's going to depend on the race. When we do the longer races, so the 50 miler and the 100 miler, we're going to have people pledge either with so many cents or dollars per mile. And then at the races, we're also going to be selling Gold Star Century Team gear, as well as hopefully I'll be promoting, veteran trash talk and try to push your shirts and stuff as well at the same time, because I'm trying to design the races around military communities so we can really push as much of that stuff out as possible. That's really where our money's going to come from, is veterans who really understand what Gold Star is and what it really means.
Exactly. I think you nailed it right on the head. Where we're thinking as well is where the veteran community is the only one that's going to actually help itself. There is nobody else. There's plenty of awesome civilians on our page already that they want to support us, and they just want to know why or what, and they'll never really understand. But why would anybody get mad at them for trying? So they're trying and they want to help. But again, I keep making fun of the liberals on Facebook, the Tanner Ports of the world. I'm calling them out, and it's like, hey, get your sack in the game, man. If you're with this cause, get it in there. Stop doing push-ups. Stop, just making little videos. Get in the game. Do something about it. So, Bill, we applaud you for doing something about it. And again, you're on the right track with the veterans, because
great cause, Bill. Great cause.
Yep, it's absolutely awesome.
Sergeant Major Bill, right?
Frocked. He's still an E8. So let's not blow his head up too much.
Yeah, it doesn't count yet.
Yeah, it doesn't count yet. Now go ahead, Bill. It's your job to introduce your boy.
Okay, so Ryan Henderson. Yep. What do I say about this guy? For those of you who follow my Facebook, my Instagram, as well as the Gold Star Century Team's Facebook and Instagram, I told you I was going to know you by nonstop promoting Ryan's book, Tip of the Spear. I can't say enough about this guy. It's truly an honor to be able to call Ryan a friend and a brother. Some of the stuff you read in this book, you're not going to believe. Some of it I can attest to. I've said it before. We always hear about woodpecker lips and coffin nails. Ryan makes those look like plush velvet pillows. Ryan is one of the hardest sons of bitches I've ever met in my life. And, I am not a long tabber. I've said it before. I was the JTAC 4 7th group. I am not one of those long tabbers. But if someone came to me and said, hey, build me a Green Beret, I'm going to say get the DNA of Ryan Hendrickson. One of the baddest dudes I've ever met in my life. There's a part in the book, some people say I don't believe it. I can say I was there. Hopefully Ryan doesn't mind me talking about it. I won't give away his book too much. There's danger close, and I think they should come up with a new brevity code, which is called Ryan Hendrickson. I watched Ryan high five a GBU 54. So if you guys don't know what that is a 500 pound. They use the low CD version, which doesn't matter because it's still blast. So they dropped a 500-pound bomb about, I think it was 23 meters, Ryan, if I have it right. 23 meters away from Ryan. We actually had to lie to the F-16s saying that we moved the friendlies further away in order to drop because they didn't want to drop it. And they dropped a 500-pound bomb 23 meters away from Ryan, and that son of a bitch got up and walked away from that thing. And the funniest story I have is we get back.
Cheers, Ryan. Cheers.
We get back to the little fire base or whatever you want to call it, and it was all of us sitting around. I remember Andy Marcasano, RP. You guys remember me posting him on the Facebook page? We're all sitting around, and I remember Ryan was smoking a cigarette. He went, "Hey guys, that firefight was legit, bro." Because hey guys, that 200-pounder was close. We're like, "Hey Ryan, man, that was 500. Fuck, that makes sense. I saw a flash, then I just couldn't move for a few minutes." So again,
I had that feeling too. And flash. I didn't
if you don't know about Ryan, Ryan had his leg messed up from an IED. Had doctors, $6 million man, put that shit back together, and he was right back to Afghanistan, walking point, clearing IEDs again, and high fiving 500 pounders, giving them a kiss on the way in. So without further ado, Ryan, again, if you haven't bought this book, you need to buy it right now. If you start it, you won't be able to put it down. Tip of the spear. Everything in this book is true. You won't want to believe it, but it is. Again, Ryan Henderson, the hardest son of a bitch I've ever met. Ryan.
Man, I appreciate that. That's I think there's a fine line between being hard and being stupid. So I'd probably agree with my dad is probably the stupidest son of a bitch he ever met. But but yeah, man, I'm definitely it's an honor to be on the show. I've known Bill a long time, and I definitely I appreciate you guys letting me come on here, and I appreciate that 500-pounder because we were getting our asses whooped, so appreciate it. That 500-pounder is the reason why I'm on the show. So thank you very much, Bill.
Just so you know, that 500-pounder, Ryan was literally laying as flat as he could in the middle of a road while a PKM was skipping rounds off his plate carrier. I mean, Ryan is a bad dude, man.
So Ryan, tell the audience a little bit about where you were at. Obviously you don't want to share too much of the book, because we want people to buy it and check it out, but kind of where you were deployed at, what you did, give them kind of an idea about, what it's all about.
Hey, Ryan, before you do that, I'm kind of the asshole of the group, so I got to kind of – did they kick you out of group when you went bald? Or was that is it because you couldn't look cool enough? Because, I would like to say that Beckwith is the example of an SF guy with his hair, but he's vaping right now, and we don't know we don't know why he's a half hour late. But that's okay. No, but honestly, yeah. That's awesome that you're here, and like Dave said, tell us where you were and what was going on, and that just would be awesome to hear.
Yeah, well, I'll let you know right off the bat. If I grow hair out, you can put me on any mug shot of any meth head out there, and I'll fit right in. So I got to shave my head, or else I'll be arrested pretty quick. Yeah, as far as it goes for me, I left high school, left Oregon, joined the Navy, did 4 years there, then ran around the world a little bit, and then joined the Air Force and did 5 years there, and then transferred over to the Army. And first deployment, Afghanistan, I was doing the whole IED thing along the Helmand River, and success, found one. Not the recommended way, I stepped on it, but still, hey, a win's a win, right? Anyways, so then I recovered from that, went back in 2012, and that deployment, we were in the Panjwai, bad area, but you guys all know about that. So, and then did the South and Central America thing for a while, and then 2016, that was that was boggling. That was a lot of fun. I mean, good and bad, but I learned a lot about myself, and I definitely a PKM opening up 17 meters away in the middle of the night. That's that'll make you
It'll rattle you. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll rattle you. And then a bunch of these peckerheads with AKs and whatnot. But like I said, my boy Bill dropped it, and so here we are. And then that just started the mission right there. We I had eardrums; they were ruptured from it, but because I brought the Britney Spears mic out because I was that cool SF guy. Like, what do you need Peltors for? Yeah, well, they are important. But that started the mission off, and then throughout the village, just found a ton of IEDs. I think myself, I pulled out of the ground 17. My Afghans 50 some odd. Then we got ticked up again, and that's when we took all the casualties and whatnot like that. And then most of the firefight just running around recovering bodies, Afghans, but still they're our partner force. And when I've worked with the counter IED guys as much as I have, they're my brothers, and I have nothing but respect for those dudes, and we weren't going to leave them out there. So yeah, we spent majority of the firefight bringing our boys back, regardless if they're Afghan or American. I don't give a fuck. And so got everybody,
man, 100%.
Yep, got everybody back. And then exfilled out of that one. So that was a 16 deployment. And then I went back in 17, did the Catejas, went back in 18, 19, and then I went back in 20 as a contractor. So that's, I don't know. I love Afghanistan. So.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan, for the people that are going to watch this that are civilians, like the TIC is troops in contact, so that we have to whenever we use acronyms, we got to explain them for people who are watching. And I'm glad you hit on that. We talked about it once. We had an interpreter that lost his life trying to save one of our battle buddies. And it doesn't matter. A lot of the civilians and even a lot of the veterans who aren't combat arms don't understand that, especially in the SF community, when you have a company of commandos with you or whatever, those guys are, they're out there with you with, less nutrition, less, physical, abilities. And, it's like, hey, here you go. You're going to go into the most dangerous places in the world because you got an ODA attached to you. It's like shit. So I know both you and Beckwith can talk about that. But again, talking about the PTSD and all this stuff that we're dealing with. Everybody on this show talks about it. What hurt you the most, and what did you do? What do you do to remedy it? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, no, not at all. So I'd gone down some pretty dark roads. I know when I first got blown up, I had 28 surgeries to reattach my leg, and then I was going through a pretty rough time. And I remember I was laying there in the hospital bed, and my dad, he had told me, he was like, he said, you've been handed the opportunity of a lifetime. It's like, what are you talking about? And he goes, think about it. He said, you've got an opportunity that men, they'll never get. I was like, what do you mean? He said, you got a second chance. He said, you died, and you have a second chance. He said, but it's very important you understand the opportunity you have. So, okay, well, what do you mean, Dad? And he said, right now, you have two choices you can make. The first choice you can make is you can become your injury. You can make this injury who you are. You can be Ryan Hendrickson, the guy that stepped on an IED in Afghanistan, and no one will blame you. And this injury, it will become every bit of your fiber, your mentality, your thinking, your personality, everything about you will be this injury. And he said, it's a lonely, lonely life. Or you can use this opportunity you've been given, this second chance you've been given, to make yourself stronger, a better man, more compassionate, more caring. Use this situation, use this incident, use this basically gift from God to make yourself the human, the man that you want to be. But I warn you, if you become your injury, if you become a victim of your injury, he's like, I'll be surprised if you make it that long, son. And so I'm a human being, and I struggle just like everybody else does. And I've listened, to just the poem, that's a pretty powerful poem, but every one of us are the same. We've all had our things that we've dealt with. And one of the things that I've really tried hard is not to become a victim of circumstance, not to let the victimization mindset take me over. And I watched the news, and our whole country is being devoured by the victimization mindset. And it's a choice. No one is born into a victim. It's a choice. And so that's something that really has, that conversation I had with my dad. And again, I do got to point out, I have my struggles too. Everybody does. I have my dark days.
We all do, brother. We all do.
Yeah. But the one thing that kind of really surprised me was when I would talk to friends and kind of get out, everything that I was going through. We'd sit there and we'd bullshit and we'd have a beer and yep, I understand. I go through it too. And then when we would leave, it was basically dead air. It was done. We had a conversation, but nothing was ever permanent about it. Nothing was ever.
Ryan,
yeah.
Was it like when everybody kind of went their own separate ways after you had that conversation? It almost felt like every man for himself.
Yeah.
Like okay, we had the talk, we checked that box, but no one's really following up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just something that I've noticed that happens, and I just wondered if you had the same take on it.
Well, I do, and I mean, we could be the best friends in the world, but the problem is self-preservation is always going to take over. You and I have a conversation about the shit that we've dealt with and what we've seen, but then when we go our own ways, now I'm like, okay, my wife and my kid or my dog or my this, and it's all dead air. It evaporates, and there's nothing tangible about what we just talked about, because unfortunately, our generation, we hear each other, but we don't actually listen. And so I decided on the 2017 trip, I was going through a rough patch, and I just started typing. And it was something that was in my face, and I could go back to it whenever I wanted. I could look at it. I could wake up in the middle of the night and type in something else that I had just dreamed about or something like that. And the craziest thing was, it was almost like I was releasing it all. And because it wasn't just dead air, it was in the computer. It was right there in my face. And that, for some reason, the world's fastest 2-finger typer, me, but everything just kept pouring onto it. And all the way back from when, it went from combat related stuff, just just to life and either my successes or my failures at life and things I went through growing up and, you know, all kinds of stuff. And for me, like I said, it really worked because it was something that was permanent. It was right there. Does that make sense, kind of? Or
Oh, hey, Ryan, you're
absolutely 100%.
Hey, let me hop in there real quick. Hey,
go ahead, Bill.
Man, he brought up a good point. Well, first of all, Ryan, blame Keaton for blowing up your eardrums. I was the medevac guy on that mission. So that's Keaton's fault. But hey, Ryan brought up a good point with the man, this one stings a little bit, and Ryan will get it. It's you go, you have drinks, you have dinner with friends, and you go home, and it's back to that every man for himself thing. And if you talk to people that knew Andy, Andy Marxano is one of the toughest dudes on planet Earth, man. I mean, that dude was a hard dude. And if you hear about what happened then, it was the same thing. He went out and had dinner and drinks with friends. It was a great night. And then he went home and he took his own life. So I think it's important for trash talkers out there to hear what Ryan just said. It's not just a conversation. You have a quick hour conversation with buddies and you go your separate ways and everything's fine. You got to truly listen. I mean, all of us have been through some shit in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, wherever we've all been. And it's okay to pick up the phone and be like, hey, Bill, hey, Ryan, hey, Nick. Like, I'll call anybody on the screen right now and be like, hey, man, I just need 20 minutes.
Let's just talk. Yep.
Hey, Bill.
It's okay. And you know, and not everybody, or even like Ryan said, even if you're not writing a book, just get on the computer and just type that shit out. Just get it off your chest, because no matter how hard you are, what we go through is not normal. And we have to understand that, like, as hard as we want to be, you know, getting pinned down by a PKM or doing gun runs 50 meters from you or dropping a 500-pound plane, that shit is not normal. We have just normalized it and we try to be hard about it. But it rattles our noodles and it messes with our psyche. And we have to be willing to admit, like, hey, sometimes it's good to just pick up the phone. And again, trash talkers, anybody on this screen, I guarantee you, if you called us up, and my phone number is all over the place, you can call me up and be like, hey, I just got to talk about some shit.
That's what our community is all about. That is exactly what our community is about.
And so, Ryan, I think for coming on the show and talking about this, that's huge. Because there's a lot of people on this Trash Talk Nation that have been through crap, they've been wounded, all this crazy stuff, but they hold it in because it's that, oh, I might be weak. But here we got some of the hardest sons of bitches on earth saying, like, hey, man, it's okay sometimes.
Yeah,
and
but hey, Bill,
it might not even be the combat shit. It's like, hey, my dog died, the wife slapped me in the face and was banging the neighbor. Like, whatever it is, it's okay to just say, hey, man, I'm going through some shit.
Yeah, you're right, Bill. Joe, go ahead, man.
Hey, Bill, you remember the week, it might have been a couple of days after, you know, Andy, what happened with Andy happened, and I called you and I said, it sounds simple, but I don't think I've ever heard anybody say it, but I mean, it never happens amongst brothers. It always happens when there's if there's a transition where he's leaving, you know, saying goodbye and then going to, but it never happens in front of or around. So even if you have the wrong answer, being there, and it obviously it's not a 24/7 thing where you can just keep track of somebody, but it's even if you don't know what to say, being in their presence or just getting there. I mean, right then you won, because it almost always happens after they have to say goodbye or after they have to transition. Because I mean, from everything I heard about Andy, you know, he was moving on to something bigger and better, but he was leaving a lifestyle he'd gotten used to, and it just sounded so familiar. Where guys, they change that landscape and they leave some brothers, and all of a sudden it happens.
Yeah.
And it's always a wait. But go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
No, you're right. No, you want to keep going, Joe? It's fine.
No, that's I'm just saying it's just something that always you're always better if you're around them, and if you can help it, be there, because and it never happens that way. You know,
so I'm gonna introduce Beckwith here because I know he probably has some problems right now at home. Whether it's like a leaky faucet that he doesn't know how to use a wrench or something, we'll figure it out. But the main thing that we can pull from Ryan here, which Ryan, if you don't mind, I'm gonna snip some of what you said and I'm gonna make an ad out of it. But Ryan wrote a book. We've already covered that earlier, right? So he wrote all this down and he wrote a book, Tip of the Spear. And it goes into, because when you listen to our shows, you'll hear Buddy talk about it, you'll hear Joe talk about it, you'll hear Bill said it, Ryan said it, Dave said it. The victim-based, argument, no matter how shitty of a situation you're in, like if you go to our YouTube channel, we have 2 women on there that came out and talked about getting raped, right? And it's like, how bad was your day, right? Really? And they are doing things, they're coming out and they're saying things because they're not going to be classified as a victim, even though I'm going to say it, fucking were victims, right? But they're not going to be classified as that in their own head. And Ryan, like he said, he was wounded, Joe was wounded, Dave was wounded, I was wounded. Like we're not victims for our life. We were victims that day, right? That day sucked. And then if you have, the 26 surgery, Ryan had horrible days, horrible. But he put his sack in the game and he did something about it, right? He wrote the feelings down so that everybody could read him and hear him. And that's tremendous, Ryan. Appreciate you having on a show. You're going to save lives with this show. I guarantee it. I fucking guarantee it. People are going to watch this and they're going to be like,
100%. Thanks for sharing.
Because
that was emotional. That was emotional. And that's why and real quick, Nick, before you introduce Clay, that's why we're inviting civilians to the page too, to get them a better understanding. So they
no
can
one can
understand
humanize what you went through like you can. And, and to people, to the layman or people that don't know, to actually hear it from you, to actually understand that, hey, man, that's, we're human beings. We're all the same. We all bleed the same. And to hear it from you firsthand, and to humanize it is, I think it bridges the gap and actually gives us a broader scope of people who actually can understand what veterans go through. So hats off to you, Ryan. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, hey, Ryan, it's called Tip of the Spear. Where can you get the book at?
Yeah, so the easiest place that people have been getting it is on Amazon, just under Tip of the Spear by Ryan Hendrickson. But yeah, for the civilian viewers and everything like that, just one last thing. I wrote a book, and I have some crazy experiences, and the book, there's some funny parts of the book and everything like that. But the life that I was living before I got blown up, I very easily could have been part of 22 a day. My mindset was there. And actually, I got it. I was in the Army. I've done this and that, but for the civilian viewers out there, I'm no better or no different than anybody else. And I could have very easily. I had thoughts about it, and I could have been that statistic. And stepping on that IED, probably saved my life, to tell you the truth, because I was able to refocus and not be a victim of everything that happened to me. And so I'm just letting you know that's real talk from a real human being, and it's the truth.
That's powerful, Ryan.
Yeah, powerful, Ryan. And we appreciate you coming on. Now, in the script we had Buddy giving the first word because we respect him that much. And I realized that it was going to get super heavy when we started talking about your experiences in your book. But so we have the somber moments and we have those times, and we're all here for each other. But let's end the show on a Buddy Beckwith note, because if you don't listen to Buddy Beckwith's Honesty Cap, we're going to start that every Friday. We're going to release one. Some of them suck. Some of them are hilarious. Most of them are funny. So I know you've had extra time because you were late today, Lauren. So go ahead and give us what you got, buddy.
Yeah, so So I was late because we had a little bit of weather. Had some battening down the hatches to do here.
That's not what that text message said that you sent.
I hate to disappoint you, Nick, but this one's definitely not going to be a funny one. So the honesty cap, it's kind of funny that we're having, that I jumped in kind of late to the conversation, but the conversation definitely goes into the honesty cap. And, I had a buddy one time that he was talking about his son, and his son was doing some stuff in school and messed up or did something. And he told him, he was like, I love you, but I love you enough to tell you the truth. And that kind of is where the honesty cap started rearing its ugly head. And then, it just kind of went from there. Sometimes, like you said, sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're not so funny. So last night, a buddy from my was an old weapons guy from my last team. It was his birthday last week, and last night we got a cop to arrest him and then bring him over. We kidnapped him, took him to a couple bars. We got to one of the bars and walked in and went over, started playing a game of beer pong. I walked inside, and then sitting at the bar was another old Bravo that was on the team when I first got there. A little backstory: that guy was drinking pretty heavily when he was on the team. The chief and a couple of the guys, the top three, tried to get him some help. He didn't take it, and he ended up losing his career because of it. Got out, didn't get a whole lot of disability, but he ended up going to AA and met probably one of the best women I know. She was a B-52 crew chief, spent a lot of time in the Air Force. She was a sexual assault victim also. She's written for the New York Times, and she's been sober now for 4 years. Super good person, and she became his sponsor. She gave him all the tools he needed. He would get clean for about 3, 4, 6 months at a time and then go back into it. It's in a super toxic relationship. Just keep adding and adding and adding. The other guy that one of the other guys that was with us knows him, went over and started talking to him and was like, hey, man, what are you doing? You shouldn't be in here. You shouldn't be drinking. You've got a problem. And he just kind of blew him off to the point that guy came back over to where we were in tears, and he was like, we need to physically grab him and help him. And I was, and here's where the honesty cap comes in. There are people that are going to make bad decisions in their life. The reason that we have this show is to inform you about the tools to help fix your life, to help get you on a path of healthy, socially bringing something back to the table that at one point in your life you've already decided you wanted to be a part of. But I can't physically drag you to a fucking cell, lock you in it, and make you stop fucking drinking. I can't make you stop fucking taking oxycodone. I can't stop making you fucking smoke weed. I can't stop making you throw fucking the booger sugar up your fucking nose. I can't do any of that for you. I can't make you a good father. I can't make you a provider. I can't make you do a goddamn thing. You have to decide that you're valuable enough that you're going to fucking step up and take the tools that people give you to fucking be successful. And if you're not going to do that, then stop fucking going to people and fucking bullshitting them. Make a decision to be a fucking man, to be an adult, and fix yourself with the tools that people are trying to fucking give you. And if you're not going to do that, then the people that are trying to give the tools, you've got to give yourself a break. You can't feel bad that you tried to give the guy the water that he didn't want to drink. If you don't want to drink it, I can't make you. I wish I could. I can't want your sobriety and your success more than you want your sobriety and your success. I can't make you not want to end your life more than you want to not end it. You've got to make a decision that you have something to offer. If you didn't have something to offer, all these people wouldn't be making shows, making, veterans organizations to try to help you. They wouldn't be doing everything that they're doing. It's not for me. Like, I'm not an alcoholic. I barely drink. Every other Saturday, I might have a drink on here. That's about it. Like, so it's not helping me. I'm trying to help you. But you've got to decide that you want to be an active participant in your own success. And if you're not going to be an active participant in your own success, then nobody can do it for you. I listened to a guy this week that is a 160th pilot. Super good dude. And we're going to have him on the show here in a couple weeks. And Joe was talking about it earlier with, guys going through transitions. And I can't speak for it because I haven't gotten out of the Army. But, he had a couple of things. He had talked to a couple guys that have gotten out, and he was like, I don't have PTSD. I don't have any issues at all. Like, I'm good. And they were like, you don't even know what you don't know. And that guy was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he explained it like, look, man, like, you're on a train right now. You're fucking on a bullet train and you're riding down the tracks. And there are things that are happening to you right now and you don't even get it, because they're like suspension lines from a parachute flying back there behind the train, but the train is still moving, so they're all behind you. But at the moment that you step off that train, the moment you leave, the moment you transition that unit, the moment you get out of the military, you're not on the train anymore, and all those suspension lines wrap back around you, and you remember shit that you don't even remember that you don't remember. There are things that wrap around you that you've suppressed, and that and you're all alone by yourself, and all of that stuff comes back on you. The tools that we're trying to give you are tools to cut some of those suspension lines off. But you got to take them and you got to cut the suspension lines off. But it's on you. You got to be part of your own success. That's all I got.
No, buddy, that was perfect.
Buddy, killed it.
Well said, bud.
That's twice I put my foot in my mouth tonight, which isn't a new thing for Nick Earl. The Book of Earl oftentimes puts his foot in his mouth. So, like, I made fun of Joe. Joe comes out with me with a poem that's super powerful. I make fun of Buddy. He comes at me with an awesome honesty cap. So twice in the same night. That's okay. I'm going to keep swinging. That being said, you kind of caveated off of me when I was like, we're going to give you all the tools, man. Like, you got to take it. You got to be, you're the one that has to change it. Get your demon out. Let us all crush it together. We can tackle you. We can drag you into a jail cell. Doesn't matter. Like, we got to get after it. So I know
there's help there. Be worthy of that help. There's help there.
You got your community. Like I said, that's what we're all about. Yep.
When we get big enough, when we will get big enough, we're going to be a one-stop shop, because we're going to work on the system. I keep bringing it up that English is a linear language. So this solves that solves that, as opposed to, no, the whole freaking system, man. Brain, muscles, bone, all that, money. Money's an issue, right? All that stuff. It's a system. We fix it all. We got experts everywhere that are going to help us out. Bill, I know you had something you wanted to go on this, so go ahead, buddy.
Hey, real quick, Ryan, thanks again for coming on the show. For those of you who don't know out there, 13 series going to group is not always the greatest thing in the world. Buddy can probably attest to that, and Ryan. But 2-7 was the greatest organization I've ever been a part of. They accepted me. They entrusted me to drop a lot of bombs for them. And they accepted me on the teams, and it was great. And Ryan, I know you were probably getting annoyed with me hitting you up nonstop, trying to get you on this show. It's because what the show is doing is great. And I knew someone of your caliber telling your story is hands down, I guarantee you, Ryan, is saving somebody's life watching this show.
Yep. Yep.
They needed someone of your caliber come on and say, hey, it's okay. We all go through some shit. It's okay to reach out. So I thank you again, Ryan, for not only how 2-7 treated me, you and Andy and the rest of 2-7, man. But really, it was an honor serving with you, honor chewing some of the same dirt with you. And thanks again for coming on this show. You're going to affect more people than you think you do. And those of you who don't know Ryan, you read the book, you hear the stories. He's also one of the most humble dudes you're ever going to meet. He doesn't know how great he is, to be honest with you. But again, Ryan is one of the hardest dudes ever, and him coming on and telling this story is going to affect way more people than he thinks it does. And Ryan, thanks again, bro, for coming on.
Man, I appreciate it. It was an honor, and it's badass. I really appreciate you guys letting me come on. So thank you guys very much.
Well, Ryan, like I said before, your story sounds superhuman, and I'm not saying that to be comical. It does. So thank you for coming on and humanizing it, and letting everybody know that it's all right.
Yeah, 100%. I appreciate it, and again, it is 100% all right to ask for help, to reach out, because even old Green Beret like myself, I'm constantly reaching out for help because we're all human, man.
Hey, Ryan, again, yeah, for me as well. We really appreciate you, and I think I'm going to close out. Nick, did you have anything you were trying to say?
No,
something?
go ahead. No, go ahead. Close out.
Yeah, look, like phenomenal. Bill, obviously, your cause, everything that you do, that movement is incredible, and it's needed. I mean, we have soldiers that are, dying overseas, and families are left behind with kids and everything. So, you guys are definitely taking action and making a difference in those kids' lives. So really appreciate you, Bill. Ryan, hey, phenomenal. It gave me some goosebumps when you were talking. This is a therapy. This is the stuff that we talk about, the veteran trash talk therapy, creating that community where we can all just discuss and talk about stuff, like talking is good, talking is fine. So, like Nick said, you definitely changed and maybe probably saved some lives tonight with everything you were talking about. I really appreciate you sharing those experiences and really going in depth, because sometimes it's not easy to talk about that stuff. But you hit the nail on the head, Ryan, and we really appreciate you. So for the rest of the Veteran Trash Talk community, thank you for everything. Make sure you go check out our website. We're going to be posting Ryan's book, all that stuff, all the information, so you can purchase that as well. Support the cause. And again, civilians are welcome, so you guys can understand the demon that we deal with that's within. And our goal is to take that demon out and freaking crush it. Hey, have a great Saturday, and we'll talk to you later. I'm out.
All right.